What's up, Green Hill Radio? Welcome to another exciting, always informative, non scripted, glorious, cascading waterfall of thoughts known as the Fireside Chat. Aptly named because I tend to put my phone off to the side and smoke some fire whilst we chat. And man, is it great. I love it anyway. To not have to fucking rush my thoughts with the knowledge in the back of my mind that that the video can only be 10 minutes long. That's lovely. We'll get to the point though. Bit hot still. We're over the week recap. Part 2 Epstein, Trump, Dilio recap. Now, so if you're paying attention to the stuff in the group, I know all 5 of my glorious subscribers and the potential 2 random people that might see this. But I recently posted a series of screenshots of me talking to ChatGTP. God, that's like pulling teeth. I don't know how people are losing brain cells literally over this motherfucking thing. I don't like talking to it. I got screenshots of me convincing its dumbass to agree with me that it is basically the equivalent of a fucking pencil sharpener. It ain't impressing me much, so. But, people losing their minds over AI. Anyway, so I recently posted some screenshots that were like pulling teeth to fucking obtain. Got ChatGTP to pull up some pictures of the Epstein birthday book and Trump's usual signatures that you see all the time, which look nothing alike. And yeah, and I'm glad that Alex has kind of jumped onto the messaging that I was talking about in my other videos and posts. Like I basically said in the caption of one of his videos that I shared, I was like, this is such obvious bullshit, in my opinion. What did it say? You're the best, Jeffrey, or some it literally, I mean, Alex said that part of it first. He added the description to the scene. I just said it was fake. Some asshole in the government wrote that up. Trump's like Alex is like some faggot in the CIA wrote that bullshit. Yeah, I just can't imagine. I can't picture it. The fucking, oh, you're the best. Like it looks and sounds fake. It looks and sounds like some shit Jeffrey wrote in his book himself, or somebody came up to a signing event and was like, yeah, my son Jeff, make this out to him, just say you're the best, Jeff. That's the only way that fucking exists. Before I take up too much time here, let's get to the real meat and potatoes, bottom of the barrel with regards to this Trump Epstein stuff, okay? So now, what I was told through comments and conversations in my group has now been confirmed to me watching the Alex Jones show and seeing different articles. And, sadly, I didn't even screenshot them. You're going to have to go and watch those videos. Because I decided to give my phone a break. I was like, my poor phone, it's over here slaving away. It's got to do all this fucking shit. And meanwhile, I want to do some videos on some mobile games. And I'm like, this poor bastard, I can't. So I was like, all right. I got a cheap laptop. And I was like, well, I'll give the phone a bit of a break and delegate like 3 hours of responsibility to this old ass 2009 laptop. Go check out Gamers Theory 101. This thing's gonna have smoke coming out of it when I click the start button on Call of Duty Warzone. It somehow managed to download that shit. But I didn't even think when I started doing it, like I got on a roll in the weekend, watched a bunch of the Alex Jones show, and I didn't even think when I started doing it, and I got really into Nobleman that I play on my phone. Been a long ass time since I played that, so I ended up playing it like all fucking day. Like you can't, I don't know of any easy way. There's probably somewhere buried in some hard to get to as menu. I don't know of any way to screenshot the articles, is why I haven't posted them. But so apparently Trump was like the first guy. And I can see this. The club scene, the New York scene, the business scene, all these people, like there's a cigar bar lounge downtown I've gone to a few times. It's really nice. You smoke cigars and it looks like Peter Griffin's dad's it looks like Lois's dad's library smoking room. You know, those kind of places, where business people meet and shit. Like I can see Epstein as a active infiltrator of groups and blackmailer, running this whole intelligence operation, fucking being in these circles, inserting himself in these circles, and then Trump's meandering and floating around in these circles too, doing what he does, and they bump into each other, and that's how this interaction takes place, where Trump becomes the first person to start reporting fucking Epstein to the authorities, going, this guy's a motherfucking creepazoid. And then you get the crazy goofball shit of Epstein's brother or whatever, cousin or whatever, coming out saying, no, Jeff stopped dealing with Trump because he heard Trump was a crook. Like, yeah, buddy. But so these news articles confirmed a suspicion, not even a suspicion, I don't know why I used that word, confirmed what I was told about Trump, giving you the bottom of the rabbit hole stuff right here, at least as Green Hill Radio New World Order News has managed to dig up until this point. Whole conglomeration of years worth of going through information at this point. So like a couple of years back, one of my members shared a documentary, some lady, and I distinctly remember it because she drew It was around the time, it was either in the documentary itself or I had just recently shared a similar video that was talking about the cover of Times Magazine or the New York Times or whatever, where it had this mural that had, it was like a years ago cover, but it had this mural that basically depicted all kinds of current events, like Trump was in it. They had the paragliding Palestinians, Gazians going into Israel. I remember that part of it. It was a cartoon drawing that was on the cover of Times Magazine, and it was either, and I think I shared that around the same time, and this documentary had a similar mural with Trump in it and a lot of characters and a lot going on. And the two remind me of each other, or the fucking mural is in the documentary. Regardless, this woman in the documentary, now I've asked this is like ages ago, so you'd have to be a motherfucking superhero. And I don't know how much easier it is. My laptop isn't hooked into Facebook. I don't know if it's easier to scroll through Facebook news feeds on a laptop with the little scrolling thing versus a smartphone, but you know, your phone starts stuttering after a while. It's like, alright, enough of this shit. Give me a break. But you'd have to be a damn superhero to scroll back through all the stuff to find that one documentary, but I want somebody to fucking do it. I don't have the time nor the patience. It's almost like a fucking brain block thing that happens too when you fuck around on the smartphone enough. It's not like playing a video game. It's weird. It's not like playing a video game. Skyrim, I can sit there all day, fuck around with menus and lists of stuff and play the game, and yeah, eventually I get tired and I'm too impatient, like I said in my other video, to be fucking around with my alchemy ingredients or whatever tedium, and I just want to kill enemy after enemy and watch the XP bar go up. But like something about fucking scrolling through, like you scroll through enough shorts and enough reels and do enough scrolling on your fucking phone, and your brain just hits a moment where it's like, no, enough of that shit, and you gotta fucking put the damn thing down. So I already do that enough doing this shit. I don't need to be scrolling back through years of shit to find some documentary. Point is about the documentary, though. This woman who was the main person that seemed to be being interviewed in the documentary, she goes, you know, I seen Trump around Epstein and blah, 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 right? Now, I don't remember her saying that he ever did anything. But she was like, he's around, you know, he's an awful guy, blah, blah, blah. He's an awful guy because he's there. And she incorporated him into this mural. And, but yeah, she never said he ever did anything. He was just there a couple of times, right? So, and I'm investigating this, and what the person who shared the documentary, I can't even remember which one of my members it was who shared the documentary. But, basically told me, like, yeah, he was there because he was infiltrating, he was doing like a reverse operation, a reverse Epstein intelligence operation where because he had that bit of access to him, he infiltrated as much as he could without having to before he reached the point where they're like, all right, now we need to compromise your ass so we can control you. You know, he never went to the island kind of shit, right? But you can pick up enough of what's going on if you hang out with a guy in a nightclub or have a few conversations at a bar or whatever the fuck. You see what I'm saying? So that's basically what I was told. And I didn't, that was just what I was told. There wasn't any news article or any corroborating story. I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of took that at face value. I was like, all right, well, I'm looking at some woman say some shit, and she's got a painting she made. Woo, evidence, right? So, so I just kind of like moved on from shit after that. And so then now, watching the recent Alex Jones episodes, you've got these news articles of Trump being the original person working with law enforcement to fucking start reporting Epstein. Circling around to the ChatGTP thing. ChatGTP, I made it do it twice. And I just, grilled it about it for a minute. And you kind of have to. Wordy little bastard. You ain't shrinking my prefrontal cortex. Whatever. My amygdala. My Abdullah oblongata. But it's so annoying. Anyway, it said there was like a 20% chance one time and a 12% chance another time. And I only did that because looking on YouTube there, which is surprising to me, I would have thought somebody would have been on that real quick. Nobody on YouTube, no handwriting specialist or whatever. We got a lot of lip readers that go around being like, doing videos of Trump when he has those little conversations with people that you can't hear because there's no fucking mic. But no handwriting specialist looked at the birthday book and his normal signatures and was like, oh, this is not is not his signature. So I guess I might as well like I basically agree with Alex. It's kind of it is really like a gut punch. It was really a gut punch initially because we're so with good reason reactive, knee-jerk reaction to this pedophile stuff that like it was just like a gut punch. And it took like me a couple of days to unwind from that and like realize the fucking circumstances. Let's outline some shit, and reassess the situation before we have this knee-jerk reaction. So this guy, he ran on declassifying these files. Like it's like a series of sentences that could be bullet points. Like he ran on declassifying the files. We had that used to be number one over the past few days, right? And then, boom, he was the first person to start reporting Epstein to law enforcement. But he ran on that's now number two. The files have been in control of the Democrats for an ill minute, but they had Pissgate PTSD and decided, if we release this unprovable bullshit, it's going to blow up in our faces again, so let's not. And so then Trump, because like I described in the last video, he's going a million miles a minute, doing all the shit that he's doing, and tackling, he's like standing at a dam trying to hold a fucking tsunami wave back, is is like the analogy that I used last time around. It's basically the level of shit. Wars and economic collapse and all this fucking shit. His support, we're the people at his back helping him push. But he doesn't know what direction to push in unless we push in the right direction, right? So that's where you get the responsiveness. It's kind of amazing. Fucking AI section of the Big Beautiful Bill gone really quick. The U-turn that was done with the Epstein shit. That's all that guy's saying. He's focused on, all right, business deal over here, getting some trillions of dollars coming in over here, meeting with this guy, end this fucking war over here. And he, in the back of his head, he knows, no matter how unsubstantive the shit is, it's going to, and he's correct in a way, because look at what happened with just the little bit of telling people to, focus on other shit, like this shit isn't that important. His little bit of hesitation, if you will, with releasing the shit, because of what it is, was enough to create what he was afraid of, which was basically a trolling storm. The destruction, MAGA people, if you look at it in like comment section warfare kind of way, people getting ratioed, live chats, just interactions. MAGA has been on the attack for like a long time, just swamping the libs. You go into a fucking live chat and there's just libs getting stomped. They don't even know what to do. They're like, oh my god, there's a lot of maggot Nazis in the chat today, a lot of maggot bots, da 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 da. Like they never could come up with a thing to say. All they got is like a little bit of trolling, right? And they're tired, worn out, like maybe it was a bit shocking. Like, it's like the racist thing. Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore either. It's just an eye roller. Like, maybe it was a bit shocking, like, years ago, when these bunch of socialist retards called us Nazis. Right? But now, that Kamehameha wave has totally lost its power. Nobody gives a fuck. Right? We just keep on telling the truth, spitting facts, making points. I get in your motherfucking live chat. I'll silence all their dumb little asses. It was fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Hundreds of them. You be in there, there's like, 300, 400 people. Half of them are libs, just screaming their asses off. They're doing that up to this point is one thing. Having to do that after this point to explain everything that I just said. Now, you imagine some 50-year-old milquetoast Republican average dude, probably voted for George W. Bush type, non-conspiracy minded, doesn't really know what's going on. He's learning about fluoride and red dye number 40 and shit for the first fucking time. He's like, oh, what is this? Right? That dude, when he's in the live chats, this is what I was talking about, he's in a live chat or a comment section or some kind of an interaction with the libtard, and this fucking moron's only summonable argument is, Trumpstein. That's all they got. It's migrated from MAGA Nazi. I haven't gone into any kind of like shit like that since then, since like the, what was that, like last weekend? But so I don't know how the dynamic has changed, but I'll tell you what, I had never seen before fucking a situation like I had to rally the motherfucking Trump supporters and MAGA people in the live chat. Like, I didn't start seeing Trump 2028s and MAGAs and Trump 2024s and Go Trump and all that kind of shit. I didn't start seeing that until like a good 15, 20 minutes of me shitting on these fucking libs outlining all these kind of points until they were fucking silenced. You troll them back just as hard. I mean, they're Trumpstein with no self-awareness, right? And you gotta, I mean, do what I've done multiple times. You know, you verbally put a picture of Adolf Hitler with kids looking comfortable like he's not a child molester next to him, next to a picture of Joe Biden immediately creeping the fuck out of every child within a 10-mile radius. You verbally do that, and then you say, I see what you cheer for. So, but yeah, I had never seen that where the libs actually had the Trump supporters fucking stun-locked in the chat, just unable to and you think about some 50-year-old, 45-year-old, whatever the fuck year old, even a young guy, but milquetoast Republican, no clue what's going on, right? Stun-locked. You're getting flustered. Fucking heart rate going up. You're like, I can't respond to this shit. And so that's what happened on a mass fucking scale. Whole fucking, yeah. My favorite point where I wrapped it up was like, which, you know, and I basically, when I said it in another video or post, like, I basically had to give him the whole fucking speech in order to shut him the fuck up. And then I didn't elaborate. What I meant by that was the whole original campaign speech, the whole original why do you vote for Trump speech from back in the day when he first ran. All the talking points I came up with, had to use all the weapons in the arsenal in order to squash this dumbass bullshit, because not because the Trumpstein shit is true, but because the libtards are like autistic sharks. They smell blood in the water. It doesn't matter if it's bullshit. It doesn't matter if it's a little chipotle in the water in actuality. They're gonna come chomping at the bit to get at it. So it doesn't matter. It could be totally dumb, complete bullshit, like fucking a bunch of socialists calling you a Nazi with the self-awareness of a fucking tadpole and a cup of beer. They're still gonna do it. And that gets annoying. And their misguided confidence and arrogance combined with that level of a fucking accusation and the fact that it's like, you know, it's like the first day liberals started calling us Nazis. It's like the first day they started calling us racists, right? Matt, remember back then? Before people shook it off and stopped giving a fuck about that dumb BS? Right? Imagine how flustered so many people were, like, oh, how do I respond to that? And then we formulated our arguments, and we realized, and we stopped our own knee-jerk reaction and outlined some shit, and was like, wait a second, asshole. I mean, we still got to work on this one, because I don't see it, but this first one is thoroughly conquered. Wait a second, asshole. You see this everywhere. You're the racist, Mr. Leftist Liberal. Every fucking 75% of your ideology is about race and fucking, like, which race is higher up in value on the oppression Olympics scale. Ooh, who is a bigger victim, thusly deserving of more shit than the other guy, based off of your random ass skin color, which, by the way, is as stupid as saying, you know, we have different color eyes, we must be a different race. Nobody is dumb enough. This is my favorite one. It's not said enough. Nobody is stupid enough to look at a golden retriever and a black Labrador and assume that they are a different motherfucking species because they have different color fur. They're both canines. Oh, wow. Oh, do you see what we've done here? We've been tricked. It's a trick. It's a trap. We're not cats and dogs. We're dogs. So let's just, you gotta get that. I don't even know how I stumbled into that. Like, but, so, yeah, alright, so the dumbass racism shit. Everybody got over that. Nobody gives a crap anymore. Moving on. So, what was the other stupid one? Oh, yeah, the stupid Nazi thing. Like, that hasn't been conquered. People haven't conquered that. Like, they don't give a fuck anymore. But they don't understand why they shouldn't give a fuck anymore. Right? Like, plenty of people don't give a fuck about being called a Nazi anymore. Look at Kanye West. But you don't see videos of people breaking down how the Democrats are the real racists. You don't see videos of people breaking down, and all it would take is a short. I think I already made one. I'm gonna have to make another one because it didn't get any fucking views. Should have been the first short that I made, the one that got 100 views, because that's a point that needs to be fucking bouncing around out there like crazy. You have a bunch of socialists calling you a Nazi. Boom. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Throw a screenshot of Google typing in the National German Socialist Workers' Party. That's all you gotta do. But so people don't give a fuck anymore about being called a Nazi, but they don't know why they shouldn't, and they don't understand why it's fucking laughable. They don't ridicule the dumbass leftist who has the depth of a fucking teaspoon, who has the lack of intelligence required to fucking tell you that you're a Nazi. They just sit there and don't give a fuck about it, which, sure, I mean, maybe after a long enough period of time of doing that, they'll stop saying it because it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm not recoiling back and then like reconsidering my whole ideology in life and worldview because your dumbass called me a freaking Nazi. Like, no, I'm sorry, it's not happening. Look at yourself. Fuck. The people, these fucking... We've seen 1,000 of the memes. We don't need to, summon up any mental images or anything. I wish I could delete them. But, and the best way, they had to move on from from racist to Nazi. See how they leveled up? They had to move on from racist because it not only didn't work, but you started getting called the actual racist because that attack made us look at and dissect all the left's bullshit, and then come to find out, circulating now in common knowledge so deliciously, you're the party that started the fucking KKK and all that shit. Republicans didn't even exist. Like, I mean, come on now. Come on. Become, like, somehow they psyoped and brainwashed the entire country into forgetting that Abraham Lincoln started the Republican Party. They pulled this fucking propaganda operation for decades, and it worked for a while. Until they got, I don't know, cocky. Until they got fucking cocky. And started calling us racists. They were like, oh, they're starting to disagree with us. They're starting to disagree with us a little too loudly. How do we shut that down? I bet we can stun lock them by calling them the racists. That worked for like a couple of weeks, didn't it, asshole? Yeah. Yeah. So now you got all the videos of people saying, oh, did you know? Guess which party did what? So, hopefully in the long run, we're going to have a repeat of that with this Epstein stuff. Trump has realized his mistake, reversed course, openly talking about it now, naming names. Ha! It's wild to see the president. And I get it. I mean, I also get another level of hesitation, too, to see the president on Bill Gates, Bill Clinton. He's on the island 28 times. Man, I gotta unstick myself from, like, I don't know why, like, I semi kind of Obama voiced that, like I was going into it. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates. I can't do a Trump impression. Whatever, but, you know, so he's saying the fucking names. I was like, do you want to die? I mean, we don't have to. Here's another level of shit that I meant to talk about and didn't talk about. So now previously on Green Hill Radio, New World Order News. If you're just now tuning in. A while ago, not so long ago, I posted this series of videos of this guy, Nathan Reynolds, and he's talking about occult satanic families and Satan worship, demon possession, even going so far as to talk about like cannibals and people that call themselves vampires, the real world equivalent. Fucking werewolves, that's a mother. I'm still stretching. It's a stretch there for me. Like, yeah, hairy guy who's abnormally strong. He's not like the real world equivalent here. Like, this is crazy stuff that he's talking about when he gets to the bottom of the rabbit hole of shit that he talks about. And it starts off totally bonkers from the beginning, his story. But so we don't even have to go to Nathan Reynolds' story to get to this level that I'm talking about. You can go back to Deputy Director of the FBI, Ted Gunderson's videos and lectures on the different satanic cults that he fought against in order to. So we don't even have to go at that level of Nathan there. We can go to Ted and say, bare minimum, these satanic pedophile cults will shoot at you over their fucking creepy shit that they do, right? So that's one level of another level of threat and hesitation. What I think Trump really wanted to do, personally, is there's an additional level, and I don't know how you would simulate this. After seeing all the stories about people's brains shrinking, I've only used it a few times, but ChatGPT, I'm like, I really don't want to ask it to do this, to interact with it and have my brain shrink a little bit, I mean, he says before hitting a bowl. But, like, hypothetically, let's say there's 1,000 people on that Epstein list. Let's say 500. Not make it as drastic. Can't even think of 1,000, like, people in power. But, so, what does it do to the economy if Bill Gates has to step down from Microsoft and the company has to, well, it's already, getting attacked with antitrust shit and supposed to be split up, I heard. But the point I'm getting at is, let's pretend for a second that isn't happening. The point I'm getting at is, so you get, like, what effect does that have on the economy, right? And so you can't just replace Bill Gates with another guy, somebody fucking hell from a different company or wherever. Find a dude. I don't give a shit where he's from. Find a guy, right? like, so if you have to do that for like, I don't know, 3 dozen fucking companies, let's pretend. Like, I want a simulation. Like, what would, like, and I don't think it'd be possible without the list. Maybe if you had the list, and then there's so many variables. It's like, well, that's assuming everybody goes down cleanly and shit, and they don't have a bunch of people back up that sabotage the economy as revenge on purpose. Apart from whatever disruptions it may cause to have, say, the CEO of a major company suddenly be involved in some kind of crazy fucking scandal and then no longer in control of the shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's like an additional level you got to consider, where, I mean, it doesn't weigh on my mind at all. Declassify the shit. I don't, like, do it. But I'm just wondering, like if we're gonna do this preemptively, we should also be working on, yeah, and that would be so fucking funny to see the beads of sweat rolling down Bill Gates' fucking forehead when Trump announces, so the government has, as we are getting ready to declassify the Epstein files, the government is starting a program. We're looking for applicants with skill this is my random white guy in a suit government voice. It's not supposed to be Trump. We're looking for, like, basically start a program looking for the replacements for all these people that need to be gotten the fuck rid of, right? And watch the beads of sweat like a Key and Peele skit start pouring down Bill Gates' face. Fucking. Yeah, that's a thing. But so what I feel like what Trump wanted to do was really drag this shit out, get people hyped and not really focusing on it because of all the other wins, and because of all the implications of it, basically wait to the end of his presidency. This is best case scenario. I'm going better case scenario than what Alex is saying. Like, he just wanted to cover it up and move on with the shit because it would cause too much mayhem if it came out. I was thinking he'd pull the pin on that bitch like a fucking grenade and let whatever asshole the establishment tries to put in power after him. Like, he'd wait to the end of his presidency, and then whoever replaces him has to deal with the frickin' mess that is made by it. We're all grilling the government like maximum Clint Eastwood eyes. Is that about it? I think that is about it. That is my full Epstein deep dive. My prognosis of the scenario. I could go into worst case scenarios, like even more worst case scenarios, like if we're to look at my Three Kings of Fable 3 Trump video, where I speak on people talking about controlled opposition, kind of things like that. And I take that all the way back to the New Atlantean experiment, this philosophy, where basically, if that is the case, then they're giving us two options that go down different paths. They have goals in mind, right? But, well, there's two different ways. This could be the two different paths that lead to the same New World Order goal, like some people say. But in the New Atlantean experiment idea of it, it's sort of more like a game, the way John Wick is set up with the assassins at the end. It's not, oh, I caught him lacking and fucking snuck up on him and shot him at the coffee house. They sit there with a deck of goofy cards, and play a little game to determine how their honorable gunfight will take place, that kind of thing. And the dude who interrupts it, the French guy, he's the shithead for doing that, you see? But so in that nature of it, and I take this back to the New Atlantean experiment, what the founding fathers called the United States, with the old saying of, if they are meant to rule themselves, they will, but if they're meant to be ruled, or if they can't rule themselves, then they won't, and they're meant to be ruled. Because this is all an experiment. It was the first time there was no king or singular ruler, an oligarchy, a dictatorship, a monarchy. So if we are meant to rule ourselves, then we will, and if we aren't, then we won't, and we will be ruled. Something like that, paraphrasing. Point is, if you go along those lines with it, and we're talking worst case scenario, all right? Then it's like the difference between us. Nah, maybe that's bad. I was thinking like football analogy, but that doesn't really work. Non-scripted here, so these are just the thoughts. This is just the cascading waterfall of thoughts. In that vein of thinking, this is all kind of a game, and we're rooting for results, as in we have two options. Like, they're giving us the options that there are. Like, it's like pushing the envelope one way or another. The New World Order elite controllers allow us to have a hand on some of the controls, basically, is what I'm saying. In the way that America is run, if it's captured. I don't know, I'm live thinking this out, how this could work in an extra layer apart from what I said in my video. But they're giving us the option to go one way or the other, right? So if we, it's like if you had a bunch of cattle in a corral and you had the little gate hallway thing that leads to the slaughterhouse, but you put a fork in it, like a Y-shaped fork in it, with a second passage that led out into the open field, but you just gotta push the door thingy open. Like, in a sense, you could say it's like if he was one of them, one of the vamps, right? And if we keep on the game, the other side needs to be as extreme, right? So you've got extreme dystopian evil shit on the left. Doesn't matter who Trump is, it could be anybody, but he's selling you an idea. He's not even selling you an idea, he's reflecting back an idea that we demanded. And it's just reflected back in a real extreme way because it has to be the other side of the pendulum to the fucking left. You see what I'm saying? But there's the pushing the envelope to the left and the pushing the envelope to the right. If you're pushing, and I don't mean left and right politically, you fucking go one direction far enough, you end up in the spot, you end up on the other side or whatever. I heard somebody say that recently. It's basically true. In a way, you wind up with the same kind of shit. Kinda. Like I feel like there's multiple different kinds of dynamics of left and right. But in this sense, left is pushing for the type of shit that the American left pushes for. And you follow down that rabbit hole far enough and you wind up in a dystopian hellscape. Right? And right is pushing for common sense, level, human rights level type shit. That's the reflection. You get a little bit of pollution there because it's being reflected back at us from the establishment. So the establishment wants to twist it in different ways. But we want to own our fucking guns. We want freedom of speech. Nobody in Britain should be arrested for a frickin' tweet. Like, we're not tolerating that happening here. Common sense shit, right? What I'm saying is you're pushing towards more freedom. Now let's say we get a guy like a Bear Independent in. Alright, like Trump has rode in on this populist wave. This truth movement, conspiracy theorist wave. Us, the core of the movement, need to do a better job of educating the milquetoast Republicans, average guys that don't know what the hell's going on. Because if we don't, they might not recognize it. They might not vote or come into play when the next dude comes along. So now because the reflection, it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy, a cycle that feeds into itself. We the people wanted a grassroots, more down to earth, more relatable, one of the people type of, people can say what they want. The Bush family has like $3 trillion, okay? Don't compare, and I said this before too, the libtards call Trump a Nazi and us Nazis. They're a bunch of socialist idiots that never used a history book or didn't pay attention in history class. They didn't watch the History Channel before it turned into Swamp People and Pawn Stars. Did I already say they never accessed fucking Google? They don't know how to use Google. I would Google some shit before I make that like my main attack. I'd make sure that I know on like, what the fuck. It's not like it's a throwaway line, like a side comment. No, that's your guys' leading fucking thing that you say. You're a Nazi. Are you sure? Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom. It's getting long, but let me pause this. So the point. So like the reflection back wanted the populist Bush family got trillions of dollars. Right, so where was I going with all this? So fucking so the left ignorantly calls us Nazis, blah blah blah. I've addressed this a couple of times. They stupidly put pictures of Hitler next to Trump and then write the word fascist when Hitler was a socialist. You should be putting a picture, hey left, think for a second. Think, Mark. This is what it turns into when I have to interact with these people. Think, Mark. Put a picture of Benito Mussolini next to fucking Trump if you want to write fascist, you numbskull. You can't write socialist because that's what you are. Now, the second part of that I was getting at is like, you could really reach for straws and stretch, and I'm not trying to give the left any stupid ideas because you know how they are. They'll grab onto the dumbest shit. But fascism, they obviously don't know what it is, otherwise they wouldn't be. The combination of corporate and church religious powers to control the government, right? I don't count Trump talking about God every once in a while or saying Merry Christmas or any of the religious stuff he's done as religious powers or some kind of like the fucking Vatican's in charge of shit level of shit, like, alright? And I definitely don't count him owning some golf courses and hotels. And you know what's real fucking crazy? I remember when he was at his peak wealth. I remember hearing about it anyway, years ago. He had $70 billion. And at the time, it was enough to buy a nuclear aircraft carrier. And then I fucking heard recently, I think it was on the Alex Jones show, one of the InfoWars shows, that our combined U.S. foreign aid, all of it, is $70 motherfucking billion. What the hell? You mean to tell me, like I want to put the F-bomb in between every word of these sentences. You mean to tell me that we give away a nuclear aircraft carrier, we give a prime Donald Trump away every year to random ass countries that don't do shit for us or give a hell about us, like, and for probably the stupidest shit, like let's see how long a hamster can swim while it's on cocaine, like that kind of dumb stuff. You know what the government spends millions on. We've seen the things. So the reflection. So by its nature, right? Demanding smaller government, demanding less centralized control. These are the selling points, right? Wanting a candidate who is more relatable, not some giant elite. Like Trump's up there, but he's not even Bill Gates up there, right? And all the rest of the shit. And so, if that aspect of it gets more extreme, the next step of it is more grassroots. A less wealthy guy. Closer to the people level candidates. So, maybe you get a bare independent level guy in there. And I think at that point, right, Trump administration, everything goes well. We decouple and sever a lot of ties with the New World Order aspects like the frickin' UN and NATO, the Paris Climate Accord Agreement, that type of stuff. You get a bare independent in there. I think we can call that like victory. Maybe not out of the woods yet, right? Maybe he gets elected again, and then you watch out for the next guy. But what I'm saying is that if the trend becomes more man of the people-ish level type person and less Bill Gates, Nancy Pelosi manipulating the stock market level type person getting elected into government, it almost becomes impossible for this kind of corruption. You get term limits in there. We're breaking free from the New World Order apparatus. So we got two roads we can go on. One is paved with BS and eventually metallic techno transhuman sensory equipment and stuff like that. Driverless cars and it's all kinds of freaky shit. And the other road eventually stops being paved and it's a fucking dirt road and we're just kind of carving our own path, a country again that is, we're off in the global wilderness as a nation, no longer tied into all of the fucking sycophantic control freak systems. So that's the two paths that I see there being offered up. And of course, the moment we do that, the whole country will be JFK, and whatever the hell is left of we'll become the fucking global pariah. We'll probably go back to seeing, like, unless we're real good with inspections and shit, a train and food plant either derailing and or blowing the hell up every other day like it was in the Biden years. It was amazing. I was like, what in the hell? It really felt like, I mean, thank God that asshole or another one like him didn't get another term in, because I was like, what in the hell? If this continues to escalate, this is crazy. It was like every day a dozen trains derailed, food plants burning down. Craziness. So that's like worst case scenario shit, and you just have to, I don't know, be sort of mature in your thinking and being like, well, you know, that's the fucking game. That's the grand game. That's what we got. It's not fun. It's not pretty. It is what it is. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we're already there, and we get somebody like Bear. He'll be the second guy. He'll be like if Trump is the Three Kings scenario, Three Kings in Fable 3, all right? To give you context on this so this shit makes sense. The Three Kings in Fable 3, I outlined these three schools of thought, where you have the bullshit queue system, where Trump's perfect and trust the plan, just sit on your hands. Special units underground are fighting an army of pedophile elites, and they're taking over the fucking maglev tunnels, and don't worry, the bullshit cryptocurrency that was supposed to come out like weeks ago or whatever is going to come out next month. Fucking Bobby Kennedy's going to give a speech about it, trust me. That kind of dumb level shit. There's that kind of dumb level shit. There is Trump is controlled opposition, which is the worst case scenario path that I just outlined within that idea of the New Atlantean experiment, because by its nature, in the way I talked about the reflection being this repeating cycle, we want the grassroots candidate. They pick a guy who can reflect the grassroots thing. We like that. What do you want when you like something? More of it. So, the next candidate's got to be even more grassroots. At some point, it becomes impossible to fake the shit. He got to be actually grassroots, or accidentally an actually grassroots candidate will come in. Somebody will come in, and then you can get into the question of like, all right, so let's say Trump isn't grassroots. He is controlled opposition. I mean, let's say he is grassroots, right? What kind of shit? All right, I want Bear or whoever we get to do this shit to be the first president to walk around live streaming with a GoPro on their forehead, except for in the bathrooms. Why not? We get past this hump right here. Like, what's the goal ultimately? Oh yeah, the UFO shit that Trump declassified, the UFO tracker program. I was gonna get to that eventually. I meant to get to that, and I brain farted, sidetracked with a bunch of other shit. So the Nathan Reynolds videos, the way that relates to that is he starts talking about vampires and werewolves and all kinds of. This is like another layer of relation beyond the Ted Gunderson, they might assassinate him for talking about the pedophile cults and shit level. There's an additional level. So if you go to the bottom of that rabbit hole of those fucking files that Trump declassified, the UFO tracker program shit, you wind up with this weird fucking. And I'm going off of memory now of like a video that I've seen like a year ago or 2 years ago. But you end up in this weird, you can look this up yourself, rabbit hole of like Bigelow Aerospace running Skinwalker Ranch, and there being what I assumed and had said. The way I've framed this for the longest time is either vampires and werewolves and Bigfoot and all kinds of crazy shit, cryptid-wise, is real. Because that's what you stumble upon. I don't know why the fuck Trump did that like that. He just declassified that shit, and he was like, yeah, UFO. He was like, UFO tracker I cannot do a Trump impression, but he was just like, yeah, UFO tracker program. Here you go. Because everybody was flipping out about the Tic Tac thing. But it was like he just left a thread out there. You pull on that thread and find the sweater on the end of it. You're like, holy crap. Fucking at the bottom of the rabbit hole of that shit that he declassified is either the government studying fucking vampires and werewolves and all kinds of craziness, or how I've like been presenting it this way, just like, hey, go take a look at this. I'm not saying it's true either way, but just go take a look at it, because this is what is there. Or a giant slush fund at the fucking Pentagon where they just, I don't know, they're on drugs and they're just writing whatever nonsense down on the paperwork of the funding documents or whatever. They're just writing total nonsense. They're like, yeah, we're out there looking for Bigfoot and fucking vampires and shit. Like, so that's what's in there. So then you go to the Nathan Reynolds videos and it's like, that's an interesting circle of stuff that all, I don't know, you do with that as you will, I guess. Thinking if there's anything I missed. Yeah. Just, oh, well, I mean, the whole speech thing, campaign-wise, first time around that I use on the leftists in the fucking, well, I did it like once in one live chat. You know, you never have the same conversation with people twice. But it's like a rough series of bullet points where it's like, well, you got Nancy Pelosi's lovely, unbeatable stock market record. outperforming frickin' Warren Buffett and everybody else somehow. Yeah, she seems real skilled with computers. So it's like, how are you going to... What I said in the live chat, this was like a punchline at the end. I was like, first time around, and this has always been the thing with Trump. He is punishable. His feet can be held to the fire, in the sense that his thing is frickin' hotels, casinos, and golf courses. You can just choose not to go to those, you know. Oh, huh. Better do what we say, public representative representing the public. We could just not go to your golf courses, casinos, and hotels. What are you gonna do when Nancy Pelosi doesn't do what you want? Nothing. Ha, that's what. Not a damn thing. I said that basically in so many words. So, like, and I'm sure it won't take much convincing to get you leftists on board with the idea of spending your money elsewhere. No, slow down. We don't need to get all crazy leftist with it and start burning things to the ground. We could just simply go somewhere the fuck else. Baffles me. Oh, I'm thinking that's about it. Like and subscribe. Go check out the group on Facebook. Check out all the videos. Green Hill Radio, New World Order News out. Peace, yo.